Hi everybody, welcome to all of you and welcome to Leonie's Kitchen. We're back again with Leonie cooking up a storm of delicious food, and I know that a lot of you are really appreciating these sessions because it's giving you ideas of how to eat both delicious but very healthy food. It occurred to me the other day that there's such a thing as man food and woman food, and I don't know whether you agree with me, but man food tends to be quite heavy on the meat and quite light on the vegetables, whereas I think women are very much happier with what you called lighter meats like chicken and things like that, cheese, and also they love vegetables and salads and so on and so forth. So today we thought we'd do something a bit more man food oriented because it's got beef in it.
Yes.
So this is something that you can perhaps tempt your husband with, and which he is going to find delicious. So we're doing ratatouille with beef mince, and then something that was a special request from me, which is for ice cream. I love ice cream. I think if I was on death row, that would be my last meal. But anyway, my thought is that the food that, one of the foods that I really love is ice cream. So Leonie's going to make us some today, but a healthy one. So over to you, Leonie, with your man food, ratatouille.
Well, welcome to the Eatwright kitchen, to all the ladies and your super troopers, of course. Yes, a little bit of man food. I hadn't thought about man food and women food, but when you say that, it is actually true. Man like meat. So I am not actually true to the recipe because ratatouille officially, as you might know, comes from France, and it's made out of vegetables only. So I have given it my own spin on it and have added some mince to it. Now you can make the mince into little balls beforehand, but I thought, no, that's too much hassle. I want it easy and quick. So the ingredients for today's ratatouille are beef mince. By the way, for those ladies that are watching and have my cookery book, I'm making half the quantities. So I had some comments previously, I wanted to make sure, because I've cooked this recipe beforehand and our freezer is already full. So I need to diminish down on that. So it's beef mince. I buy from the butcher, or mince that is low in fat from the supermarket. And I try to buy organic because then I know that the cow has had a lovely life. I'm going to, ingredient is aubergine. I'm going to use 2 courgettes, and I'll go and tell you a little bit more about the aubergine later. I've got onion, which I've already cut up. I'm using red onion. It's my favorite onion because it's not so strong, and I feel it goes with lots of other things like salads as well. Then I've cut up half a red pepper. Now, red pepper has been very popular with the super troopers, with the soup, and of course it's full of vitamin C. I'm going to use tinned tomatoes. I won't hold the bowl too much sideways, but everybody knows what tinned tomatoes look like. They are organic, so if you buy tinned tomatoes, do buy organic tomatoes. I'm going to use some tomato paste, which I've got over here. Some lovely thyme, which is from my garden. It's fresh, so I've taken it off the stems, but of course you can use dried thyme as well, and be creative in your herbs. You can use Italian herbs, any herbs you fancy, and then I'm going to use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So I'll start by cutting up the aubergine and the courgette. Have you ever made ratatouille, Tricia?
Yes, while I'm in France. I mean, when I get down to France, the shops are absolutely full of the ingredients for ratatouille. I mean, it's like it's summertime, so they're full of delicious peppers and aubergine and courgettes and onions and stuff, and they're locally grown, and you just feel you feel like it's summertime in a saucepan, really. Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Such a brilliant accompaniment to fish or anything really. It's delicious. I mean, it's delicious. I love it.
Yeah, as you say, it's a good accompaniment with any meat. So, but if you want to make this recipe, just leave the mince out and just make the ratatouille on its own. Traditionally, the ratatouille in France was actually made at the end of the summer, so beginning of the autumn, to make use of all the vegetables that were left and that had been growing. I thought that was quite an interesting fact. So let's start by cutting up the aubergine. And then I'll cut the courgette and then we'll start baking. So I'm going to change you to my chopping board. Here we are. I think you can see that. I'll just put my bowl on that side. Now the aubergine, do you eat aubergine a lot, Tricia?
No, rarely eat aubergine. So I would actually probably admit to only eating aubergine if I make something like ratatouille.
Yeah. Do you know if aubergine is a vegetable or a fruit?
I don't know, but I could imagine it could be classified as a fruit.
Yeah. And do you know why that is?
No.
I'm going to show you. Look, there's seeds in the aubergine, and that is why it's actually a fruit. A lot of people think that it is a vegetable, but it's a fruit, and it grows on trees. And it's very, very healthy for you. It's very high in antioxidants. It's got lots of vitamin, lots of fiber, and is also full of water. Now, the aubergine also sometimes is called a different name. Have you heard that name before?
Eggplant.
Yeah. I found out actually, I did some research in it, why it is called an eggplant. Because hundreds of years ago, the aubergines that grew were small, they were white, and they actually resembled a hen's egg or a goose egg, hence the name eggplant. I didn't know about that, but in later years, when the aubergine became more purple, like this one, they were actually seen as being poisonous because of the dark color, but of course they're not. They're actually really healthy for you. So they're very anti-inflammatory and a great antioxidant. They are also help you to protect against cancer. It's got a certain ingredient. I won't give you the name, but it's a very difficult one you won't remember. It helps to lower your cholesterol level, your blood pressure. It's really good for your digestive system. And it's got something in there called magnesium, which is very good for the bones. And B vitamins, which is very good for metabolism and for energy, and it helps to prevent your skin from cancer. They have found a cream. I mean, I know that of course you do makeup and you do skincare as well, but they found that high concentration of aubergine actually can help with skin cancer. So It's just an interesting fact, yeah. So cutting the courgette, I'm cutting the courgette, I take the end bits off and then I cut it in half. All vegetables are really healthy for you, and specifically the courgette is a great has got a great source of potassium, and potassium helps you with your muscles working properly, and also it helps controls your blood sugar, your blood pressure. And they're great vitamins of vitamin C, which we definitely need at the moment, and also full of folic acid. So I don't know, do you think that you reach the minimum amount of vegetables each week, Tricia, in what you eat?
I would hope so. I try,
Yeah.
certainly, that's my intention in everything that I eat. So I think I do a fairly good job. As I said, I'm very conscious of the need to do that. So.
Yeah. So your 5 a day, is that easily reachable for you?
Yeah, 5 a day.
Yeah.
I would say 5 a day, yeah.
Yeah, that is actually the minimum that the government recommends. I would recommend 8 till 10, and then 2 or 3 pieces of fruit a day, and then the rest vegetables. But if you eat half a courgette, that's already half of your 5 a day. So a courgette is quite watery, so it's very good for people that are on a diet. And it helps you to make fullers longer and really, really good for the gut. So I've just cut those 2 up. I've pre-cut the other ones. So I'm just going to turn you around to my cooker so that you can see how I'm going to make this lovely and very easy dish actually. And the first thing I'm going to put in my extra virgin olive oil. course, really good, full of omega-3, very good. Then I'm going to put in the mince. I buy this from the butcher because I know then where it's coming from. And give this a bit of a stir. And I cook this for 2 till 3 minutes. Do you eat mince, Tricia, at all?
Very rarely.
Yeah. You're more a fish and chicken person, aren't you?
I eat a lot. I try and eat fish 5 times a day.
Yeah.
5 times a week. And and sort of chicken probably on the other 2 days.
Yeah. Do you ever eat lamb?
No.
No.
I don't like the taste of lamb so much, to be honest with you.
Okay. It comes in season, of course, and it's springtime. But what you can do with the mince, I am just frying this in little bits. But you can, if you want, and have the time, to make the mince into little balls with some eggs and some oats and some spices. But I think it's just a little bit too much work. I want to really show people that the meals that we make, that they are quick and easy, so that there are as little hurdles as possible for them to tempt them into cooking the dishes. But this starts to fry. And of course, the meat itself will have a little bit of fat in it, so you don't need to use too much olive oil. And also make sure that the heat doesn't go up too high. You don't want to burn your olive oil. So a good stir, and you make sure that it's brown everywhere before you throw in the vegetables. Although it will be cooking for a long time, so. Right, in goes the onion first. You can also add garlic if that's what you like. I didn't include it in this, but onions do add it as well. You can see that there's some water coming out of the mince as well. So make sure you don't put in too much olive oil. Although it's a good ingredient, no need to put loads of it in it. And in goes the pepper. Again, we give it It's always such a shame that you can't smell. The smell is just amazing. I wish they had a smell camera.
We have to use our imaginations, I think.
Yeah, and the colours are just so lovely as well, aren't they?
Yes, I think that's really, really important, isn't it?
Yeah. So then it goes the courgettes and aubergine that I've just cut up. And it becomes even more colourful. I also have a recipe in my previous recipe book. I made something which was courgette fritters, courgette and salmon, and they're absolutely delicious. But what you have to do with the courgette, you have to grate it and then put it in one of those muslin bags to get all the water out. And to be fair, I never realized how much water there is in a courgette, but there is loads. It'll help this dish from drying up as well.
I've got a feeling, the first time I ever made ratatouille, I followed a recipe, a Delia Smith recipe. This would have been a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago. And she suggested slicing up, I think it was possibly the courgette, and it was definitely the aubergine. And then you put it into a colander with some kind of plate on top, and you left it for 2 or 3 hours, and in the process all the water then drained out, so you basically got rid of as much water as you possibly could from the aubergine, and possibly the courgette as well, in order that the ratatouille was then much more concentrated, because then you didn't have all the water sort of liquefying it, I suppose. But presumably you've never done it that way, Leonie.
I've got a dear friend who is Turkish, and they use a lot of aubergine in the Turkish cuisine. And she does something similar, as you said, Tricia. She puts salt on the aubergine and leaves it also in a colander. And then the salt draws out the water content. I have done that before, but I don't do it with the ratatouille. It does become a little bit watery, but if you want to have a drier ratatouille, then yes, by all means, do it that way. I find all these, I'm a bit maybe a lazy cook in that way. I find all this a little bit of a hassle. I want to eat quickly, and then I think, well, if my ratatouille is a little bit more wet or dry, for me, it doesn't bother me. But if you want to do it the official way, I would never dispute anything Delia Smith or Mary Berry says. So who am I?
Indeed, but you're absolutely right to say that, because I would say that the process of having to, you're right, it's the salt that draws the water out. Put salt on and then, you know, leave it for 2 or 3 hours. It just put me off making it, because it's like, oh my goodness, you know, this is far too much like hard work. And I mean, I'm a reluctant cook anyway, so it's actually good to see you cooking it without all that palaver, and saying, look, it's fine like this too, you know.
Because ultimately all the water that is in the dish comes from the vegetables.
Yes.
So in a way, it's got some nutrients in there as well. So yeah, I wouldn't dispute their way, of course, but I think because our lifestyles have changed. Sorry, I'm going to put in the chopped tomatoes, and I've got some thyme from my garden, but do use dry thyme if you want, and some tomato puree. This is about a teaspoon. I just was thinking, I think because our lives have changed a lot, we are very busy, we have social life, well, not at the moment maybe so much, but in normal times. I think we should make cooking easy and quick with whole ingredients. That's sort of my philosophy. And I'm a little bit like you, Tricia. I used to look at recipes and think, oh gosh, that list of ingredients, that's too much. I'm not making that. So I'm very conscious also when I make my recipe book, not to have a long list. And then I look at some of the recipes I've made and I think, oh no, that looks like a long list. But then the ingredients are just like getting it out of herbs and spices and pepper and salt, and so that they're easy ingredients. They don't need a lot of preparation. So this is the base for the ratatouille. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper to it.
Leonie, a moment ago you said about a teaspoon of tomato puree, but I think you meant a tablespoon.
I'm sorry, Tricia. Yes, I meant a tablespoon. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Sorry. So just a little bit of pepper and some Himalayan salt. I'm going to make sure that it's all in the dish. And this is going to cook for about 35 minutes. So too long for you all to hang on. So I'm going to turn this on low now. And I think the longer you cook it, the better the taste is. So I'm putting the top on, and then this will be ready for my husband and I for later today. So the end result, and it does look watery, so is this. So this is the ratatouille that you will get. So it's absolutely delicious. Actually, this is what I'm going to freeze in, and this is what we're eating tonight because I prepared this yesterday. So there you are. There you have a healthy ratatouille, which is not really a ratatouille because it's got beef mince in it, but you can leave the mince out as well. So that's this dish. And then we'll get on to your favorite, the ice cream.
Can I just ask you a question about that? So would you serve that just as it is, or would you add anything extra to that? Would you serve?
I would serve it with a salad myself. My husband probably likes it with some pasta. There is so many vegetables in here, so I wouldn't have it with courgette, which I would normally have it. So my favorite would be a green vegetable, another like beans or something. Or a salad on the sides. Yeah. But there's so much goodness and vegetables in here already. You don't really need to add a lot of vegetables.
It does look delicious. Thank you, Leonie. Lovely.
That's okay. All right, let's get on to your Chocolate ice cream, your favorite. So Tricia, I forgot to ask you, you said on your death row you want ice cream. What's the flavor you would like to choose?
Oh, I'd probably have salted caramel. I'd have a range.
Okay, give them to me.
I definitely have salted caramel. I absolutely love salted caramel ice cream. I can remember the first time I tasted it, which was in France. I would have chocolate, definitely chocolate ice cream, and possibly vanilla. Yeah, I'm pretty old school. So yes, all of that.
All of that, yeah. Mine would be like yours, salted caramel, and I found a really good ice cream actually that's low in sugar. And mocha or coffee ice cream, that's my favorite. My family are all ice cream lovers. Every party we had ice cream as a dessert in any form, and these beautiful swans and everything, fantastic. But today we're going to make one of your favorites then, which is a chocolate ice cream without sugar, without any nasty ingredients. And also it's got banana in there. So the ingredients I've used for this recipe is almond milk, about 200 milliliter. This recipe is for 2 people. Two bananas, which I have frozen beforehand. So just take 2 of those, do slice it up and put it in your freezer and freeze it overnight, because that will give you the ice cream. And also, of course, banana is really good to sweeten food. It's a very sweet fruit. And then raw cacao powder. So not the cacao powder that you normally buy in the supermarket, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. I'm going to garnish it with some fresh raspberries, some desiccated coconut, which also gives it a little bit of a sweet taste, but you can leave that out. And if it is not sweet enough, you can use some of the stevia, the one that I recommend. So I'm going to turn you around and just tell you a little bit about the chocolate. Chocolate is made, well, it's of course in our culture, it's seen as an indulgence, and we tend to have milk chocolate, white chocolate, and dark chocolate. Do you ever eat chocolate, Tricia?
I do. I avoid chocolate. I'm quite sensitive to it, and I think it makes my skin spotty, and I also think it triggers migraine for me. So I'm quite there's something in it that doesn't agree with me. But I do love very dark, very quite bitter chocolate. So that would be my, I don't like milk chocolate very much at all. So no I do like dark bitter chocolate.
Yeah, the bitter chocolate is the best chocolate. And if you can get it from a raw organic source, it's even better. And it's actually really healthy for you, chocolate. Among the things, and because you're very much into skins and everything, it actually moisturizes the skin, raw cacao. So I didn't know about this, I found this. It can be used as a cough remedy. Is very good for that. It makes you feel happy. That's why everybody likes chocolates, because it's got serotonin in it. So it's a happy hormone. No wonder that we are always very happy to have chocolate. It thins your blood and it makes you look younger as well. So, and it helps with weight loss. So lots of advantages of having chocolate. But there's one thing I want to say. You like the very dark one. If you do eat chocolate, eat more than 70% cacao. I prefer 85, which is quite high. I've tried 95, but no, that's not very nice. So the higher the cacao content, the better it is for you. So I'm going to turn you around and to show you how simple this recipe is. It'll be ready in about 2 minutes. So again, another quick and delicious one. So here we are. You do need a hand blender. I've got one of those, which is very handy to have. And the first thing I'm going to do is to put the cacao in the almond milk. Then the frozen bananas. I try to separate the slices, but it's very difficult if it's frozen. So my machine will have to work quite hard to separate it, but we'll do our best. And then it's just a matter of pushing this all in and mixing it together. So I'm going to make a bit of noise. I'm trying to do it neatly as well without spilling anything. So when you do this, just make sure, you can see here on the side and at the bottom that the banana is still there. So it's still not ready. So you can see the consistency changing.
Yeah.
But we're not there, not all the bananas. And there is your ice cream.
Wow. Gosh.
I'll just get this off. It's as simple as that. So what I tend to do is I just scoop this a little bit like that. Get 2 balls.
Could you now put that into the freezer and then eat it some, you know, as and when?
You can. It's not a problem. But you will have to take it out before you eat it, because it is a high content of water. So it needs to melt a little bit before you eat it.
Right.
Ideally, you would eat it straight away. And this is for two people, this recipe. And if you let it melt a little bit more, it will become a milkshake. So
Yeah.
that's nice as well. So then I garnish it with some raspberries. And I'll put some desiccated coconut on the top. And then you have got exactly the recipe as per your recipe book, the Cook Right Forever recipe book on page 125. So there we are. If you want to add some more sweetness, I don't, but then by all means do put in some stevia. The good thing about this recipe is that if you don't like banana, if you don't like chocolate, you can also put frozen berries in it. So just the almond milk with frozen berries, about 200 grams of frozen berries, can be peach, apricot, all frozen fruits, pineapple as well, or black fruit of the forest. So, and then you have a nice ice cream as well, or milkshake. So it's very versatile, very easy, no nasty ingredients.
Wonderful, Leonie. I think I might have a go at that.
Yeah.
Like I had a go at your chocolate mousse, which was delicious. So
you did very well. Yeah, you did very well.
And I think I am going to try the ratatouille, because just shoving it all in a pot in the way that you did, I mean, it's frying pan, and just letting it cook down for, what did you say, 20, 25 minutes, something like that. I mean,
25 till 30 minutes, yes.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you know, that's the sort of cooking that I think to myself, yeah, I could be bothered to do that. Yeah, it's a big deal for me. So yeah, definitely. I'm gonna have a go at both of those. I'll let you know how I get on.
I just wanted to mention about the ratatouille. Just came to my mind just now, because it gets watery. What you could do is leave the top off, and then the water will evaporate, so it'll get drier if you don't want it to be so wet.
Oh, I see. So you could, when you're cooking it, it's reducing.
Yes.
Concentrating the flavours down, reducing a bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll have a go. I'll have a go at my version. I'll probably I'll make enough for 2 and then freeze half of it, or eat it 2 nights in a row, which is what I sometimes do. But that's absolutely brilliant, Leonie. 2 very good ideas there, and very novel as well. I love the idea of the ice cream, and look forward to seeing what that tastes like. So thank you again. And what have we decided to do next week? A couple of lunches?
Yes, we're going to make a broccoli omelette with nut sauce, and then we're going to make a salad with mango and Chinese leaves. Spring is coming. It's already meteorological spring, apparently, on the 1st of March. Did you read about that?
No, I didn't.
I didn't know this. It was mentioned yesterday. 1st of March is the first day of meteorological spring. Never knew it. Things you learn.
I think it's the 21st of March. I might be getting it.
Yeah,
The 21st.
that's it. That's the official date. Yeah.
It's equinox, I think, so equal day, equal night. And then we're going to put the clocks forward at the end of the month. So I think we've only got another 4 weeks before we put the clocks forward, which is incredible to think that we have now come out of this long tunnel of winter. And we're definitely going towards the spring. So
hence some lovely spring recipes to come up in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to that very much, Leonie. So again, thank you very much indeed. That was absolutely inspiring.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
And we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, me too. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.